Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to speed paint the Herald of Salvation from the Shattered Throne faction of Malediction. Primed in my Grim Dark fashion of German Panzer Grey and German Dark Yellow with a dry brushing of Great Hull Grey. This is the perfect base if you're trying to turn your speed paints into Grim Dark. Yeah, better than the Zenithal I find actually with the black and white or black gray white slab chop or anything like that. I find this tones down and warms your colors up and gives it a more darker feeling to it, and you can see that right off the bat here with the pastel indigo on the base itself. All these clouds moving around, it tints it a little bit, gives it a little bit more still of that the yellowish brown coming through. Once that dries, we're going to dry brush a little bit more of the clouds later on to give it more pizzazz, and then we're actually moving on to mummified grime, which could be for her gloves, her leather, anything that's pretty much leather we're going to be doing. She has some gloves on. No, do I do gloves in there? Yes. No. I did the gloves. I couldn't remember there. Having a brain fart this morning. Yeah, so anyways, welcome to the channel, folks. If you've been liking these Malediction videos, hit that like button, comment down below if you have decided to join in on this. Special great big shout out to Malediction themselves, or Loot Studios, for sending me over the STL files for some of the Seekers, including a special pose for the Legion of the Fallen one. The only problem is I don't have access to a resin printer. I've told them this. They said I can share it with someone to get them to print it for me, so I'll look into that eventually, get that special pose out. But in the meantime, I have these Seekers. I have the Conclave Seekers that are going to be painted. I'm going to have I think I want to do all the Shattered Throne on the channel. We'll see. Maybe I'll just do some of the more important ones. We'll see how it goes. If you guys are enjoying the videos though, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, check out my other videos. I paint a lot of stuff with speed paint. I try to do a whole bunch of stuff with a whole bunch of different things. As you can see now, I use a lot of Goddess Glow here on a lot of areas, and then I mixed in some gemstone red to do the arms or that are holding the wings. Now, I was looking at the artwork. It was hard to tell if they were gold or not, but I want to keep that red that I've been using now throughout my Malediction faction, or my Shattered Throne faction. I want to have like that, the brilliant red, I think, or bright red is called, from the speed paint range. And so the Goddess Glow does a good job dimming down the gemstone red, not being super bright, but still having a metallic feel to it, but having that nice tone as well on top of the shading effect that I did here, or the base coating with the dark, the Grim Dark version here. I find it does a great job. Plus I'm going to highlight them a little bit later on with another color, and you're going to see that as well. Okay, we're going to move on now to some Lizard Folk Cyan on her her tassels there on the ribbons, or the gown, or the, I don't even know, what would you call this part? Just the cloth, the clothing sort of it. And what's kind of cool is that the Lizard Folk Cyan here is more of a greenish blue already. Having that undertone of a yellowish brown sort of turns it a little bit more green, because it kind of, you know, tints it a bit more. But I find it just looks good. It's not, you know, I don't want these characters to be super crazy bright, whereas the Conclave of the Sphere, I'm going to make them very magical and try and make them extremely bright and be very different than from these ones. A friend of mine is also getting into it. He'll be buying the Primal Blood and possibly the Legion of the Fallen. So between him and I, we'll have all the factions. I don't know if he's going to get the miniatures printed though. If he does, I'd be glad to paint them for him, or teach him how to paint, because he has been learning how to paint as well. Noble Skin for the hair. Pretty simple method there to get some nice brownish hair on this miniature. And then we're using some Horde Bronze. We're going to be using this on a lot of this miniature. Well, not a lot, it's just a bigger part. It's the wings. And I was going to do a dry brush of gold at the top or the tips, just to try and get the edges, but once it dried, I like the effect it gave of sort of shiny, not shiny, dark, light, when the light hits it from a different angle. And yeah, so if we deep dive into what the Herald of Salvation can do, well, number one, she can fly. She has wings, she can fly. So moving, meaning she can move over obstacles, she can pass over terrain, she can pass over other characters, which makes her movement a lot better to get through. And her movement is 8. So if you do a double move, that's 16 across the board. And if you start on the terrain of the Shattered Throne, you're adding a +2 to that. You can move across that board pretty quickly, considering you're playing on a 2.5 by 2.5 grid when you're playing one-on-one, even a 2 by 2 sometimes. So you can move her very quickly, go take if you can have her on the table quickly. That's the issue. Don't forget, this is a deck of cards, and it's all randomized, and you don't know what card you're gonna get. You don't know if you can start. I mean, if you start the game with her, you fly and you go get one of those husks real fast. You collect those points, get that relic, and get the heck out of Dodge as quickly as you can. Another thing she does, which is pretty cool, is she has Martyr's Blessing. So whenever she defeats, whenever she's defeated, she actually heals anyone around her within 3 to 5 health, like to remove 5 health. And she also has Protection 3, which gives her the fact that she can absorb up to 3 times damage from nearby allies. So if they're getting attacked and there's not much life left in them, she can take it all. And then when she dies, well, she heals everyone around her within 3. So that's kind of a cool thing. She has a good movement. She has no ranged attacks. One thing about the Shattered Throne is they're not much ranged attacks. They have the Bowman and they have the Priest, but they're not crazy strong, right? And the Bowman, it's like this specific kind of shot that's all they can do. If they do a ranged attack, that's all they have. They have one action to do that. Or they can only do one shot, and that's it, one attack. Whereas if you're already in combat or you're not, you can do 2 attacks if you're in combat. So it's, you know, there's a little bit of a downfall. You can get some bows in the Conclave. So if you mix those 2 boxes up, you can use another secret that works with both of them. And then you get yourself a nice little duo going there with some more hunting stuff and some more bows and more ranged. Alright, we're done that Horde Bronze. You can see I put on a lot of areas. Now we're moving on to the Broadsword Silver, using this on the entirety of her armor. It's a bit darker than the Shining Silver one, so which is exactly what I want. Plus with the undertone I have here, it is perfect. I will use a Shiny Silver at one point just for something else, and I will highlight her armor with a little something else as well. Another good thing about using speed paints is you can use it as a base coat and then come back later with some Fanatics paints and actually highlight everything if you want. You don't even have to. You could do some dry brushing quickly too over it and get some more pizzazz, more oomph to your miniatures. But I mean, the speed paints over this type of base coating, which I never would have thought of doing before, but I was like, you know what, I find like they are more, this world is more grimdark in the end too. But like I said, I'm gonna make the Conclave of Spheres a little bit more popping, you know, like they're on the table, they're magicians. I'm gonna try some OSL, you know. So if you're looking to see the pictures of those, take a look on all my other socials. There's Discord, which you guys can join. Link is in the description. It is free to join. There's no caveats there. You can also check out my Facebook, my Instagram. I had to do some TikTok like shorts, but they're really stupid. It's just the miniature showing what it looks like before and after painting. So, but it gives you a little thing. And then on Facebook, I like to discuss stuff. I get to see people working what they're working on, and so on and so forth. But Discord is really fun too, because we chat a lot about different things, board games, movies, everything that's geeky and fun and hobby related. All sorts of different games too, like not just board games, but all sorts of them. Then we moved on to the polished silver here, speed paint that goes on the tip of her spear. Pretty much that's the only thing I'm using it for. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty simple. Yes, I could use the broadsword silver, but I wanted that spear to be a little bit more shiny than the rest of her. Alright, now we're coming in with some auger blue from the Warpaints Fanatics. Dry brushing this on with a small dry brush so you don't get too much messed up. I do put a little bit of dry brushing on her cloth as well, or where the lizard folk cyan was, just to give almost like a little bit more highlight to those, and also like a dusting effect from the clouds, almost as if they're raising up onto her. This finishes that off really nicely, the clouds. It's not super crazy bright, but nice. Then I come in with some greedy gold, and there's a little bit more highlighting going on here. I'm doing all the edges of the parts on those arms from her wings, these nice metallic wings. She makes me think of, is his name Angel in the X-Men? I know when he becomes, I think Apocalypse's Archangel, is it possible that he becomes like more metallic? Or is there someone that actually is metallic with wings like that? You know, don't quote me on all this. I always forget half of this stuff like that. But I'm pretty sure Angel starts off with normal wings but ends up with metallic wings. Is that possible? Anyways, if you know, I'm sure you do, because all my viewers know everything. I know nothing. I'm worse than Jon Snow. And you guys always comment every time I ask a question, and it's amazing. I love it. And I love hearing from you guys. And I love the fact that you watch my videos, you like them, you subscribe because you want to support this channel. Super far away from the 5,000 subscribers I was hoping for to hit. It has been running this channel for, you know, close to 6 years. Anyways, but the support that you guys have given over the last years has just been amazing. Thank you again. Even through hard times that I've been through, good times, you know, you guys have always been there, and it's been great making these videos for you guys. I love doing this. It is a second hobby within a third hobby within a fourth hobby of painting, assembling, yeah, playing, and everything else. So thank you guys again so much. Much appreciated, especially to my 2 members who donate generously every month through the membership program. You too can do that for as low as $2 a month. Super easy. All right, shining silver is where we're going to highlight now all her armor. We're just going to make it a little bit more shiny in certain areas, like where the light's hitting. I try to keep it where the light goes and see if it's going to be, okay, yeah, this part should be a little bit shinier, this should show up a little bit more, and keep the rest in the shadows. So we're finishing off this miniature with this color. I'm also going to rim the base with some wasteland clay. That is the colors I'm going to be using for this faction, even if they get mixed with the conclaves. I want to have their bases the same colors as their base faction, and so even the conclaves are going to be like a nice magic blue color, which is going to be super awesome. Anyways, again, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. And I want to thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to go slay the gray one miniature at a time.